Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 5th edition of the DTB KBA Financial Literacy and Enterprise Development Training. We welcome you to Module 5. It has been quite a journey, very insightful, very enriching, right from the feedback we've received so far, and we're excited to continue having you on board. Thank you so much. Welcome to the 5th module. Today we are tackling leadership dynamics. It promises to be a very interesting session, one that will leave you feeling equipped to lead your team, to manage your team, however small, however big, to take it to the next level. And as usual, please do let us know where you are joining us from. We're always excited to read from everyone and to find out where everyone is joining us from. Let us know what industry you're in, let us know what you've taken home so far from all the sessions that we've had. We've traveled right from entrepreneurship to customer excellence, to total quality management, to financial management. And now it is about you as a leader and equipping and empowering you. So karibuni sana. We have Joachim from Nairobi. Thank you so much. Let us know where you're joining us from. We have Billy from Bungoma. We can see you guys who've been consistent. Thank you so much for joining in. We have Jauo from Nairobi. We have Nakuru in the house, Kiambu, Nairobi. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have Lavington. Karibuni sana. Let us know what has been your biggest take home so far. In fact, today is a major milestone because we are halfway through the training session. We have 10 modules, and today we are on module 5. So fantastic milestone. We have Mark from Isinya, we have Olkalau, we have Karen, Kisumu, Nyeri. This is amazing. We have Athiriva. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have Palvi telling us the sessions are so much appreciated. Thank you. We appreciate you as well, Palvi. We have Nairobi, Mombasa, Eldoret, Juja. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And today the sessions are on leadership dynamics. So we are excited to see how this session will unfold. So allow me at this point to welcome our head of sustainability and citizenship, Anne Derry. Anne, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Mantui, as always, doing a great job. Asanteni sana, all our participants, those who have joined and those that I know that are en route. These sessions, I was telling Annabelle a few minutes ago, have been really insightful, even for me, in my position where I work in the bank. And given how the enthusiasm that we've noted with every new session, the kind of feedback, the kind of participation, it shows that we are hitting the right mark. So karibuni sana to today's lesson, which is about leadership dynamics. Leadership dynamics affects everybody. I'm also in class taking notes because I'm a leader in my space, and one can never stop learning. You can never assume that you know everything that there is to know. So we are hoping and we are looking forward to hearing some really good insights from Annabelle, as always, to understand how we can improve ourselves as employers, as employees, as leaders, even in our personal spaces. How are we leading ourselves and how are we leading the people that we are with? And so, Annabelle, we look forward to a really, really great session with some really good, peppered with some good insights and some good examples that we can all relate to. And once again, we welcome feedback, so share it with us. Be candid, be honest, be as long as it's done in a polite manner, we will act on it because ours is to continuously improve the product and this offering, and we are aware that there's always room for improvement. So Annabelle, I want to cede the floor to you. Karibu sana.
Oh, thank you very much, Anne. Thank you very much, Antui, for this space that you've given me. I really want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate DTB. I want to appreciate Kenya Bankers, and today I'm taking the lesson from Kenya Bankers office. And I'm happy to see that you have joined. And when I hear that feedback from Anne and from Mantui that you are happy, you're getting something from this, even as you're halfway through this journey, it gives us more and more, it gives us more and more energy to continue empowering you, even as you continue empowering ourselves. Because like Hannah said, you can never say you have enough or you have learned enough or you have enough knowledge Actually, there is never an end to knowledge. So whatever you are doing, it's not to say that we don't have this information. It's just about giving you a different way of looking at leadership, and that is what you're tackling today. And even in the previous modules, I believe you have had a different way of looking at entrepreneurship. It was our first module. Then we talked about the customers, who are very, very important. We've also done financial management last week, and I could just see the comments that you kept making last week. And before then, we had total quality management that flowed very well with what you had already done in customer management. I'm very, very happy to join you this morning, and my name is still the same, Annabelle. I'm a corporate business management consultant and a counseling psychologist. I practice here in Nairobi, and I'm a great partner in this program, and I'm very, very happy to keep empowering us as we continue also empowering ourselves. Because like I said in the first module, we are all SMEs, we are all people trying to do business. And if we had given up, I remember the first module, you gave me the name resilience. If we had given up, in our businesses, we would not be here. So we are here to encourage you in this journey today. And today, we are looking at leadership dynamics, and we are calling it dynamics because there are so many different things that affect leadership, and that is what makes our businesses either to thrive or not to thrive at all. And I remember when we started this journey, when we started this series, I remember one of the things that we say that we want to support you in this program, in this financial literacy program, is to have those businesses thrive. Not just exist, not just survive, but thrive. And that is what you're going to do. Today, we are relooking at ourselves as leaders. We are looking at each one of us as a leader. As Anne has said, everyone is a leader. Even in your own personal space, you're a leader. Even at home, you're a leader. Even to your siblings, you are a leader. Even to your children, you are a leader. Wherever you are, even to your customers, you are a leader. So what is this about leadership that is so pertinent that you have to really emphasize? I want to let you know that we're going to have two series of this module. We are going to have, this is just I'll use this as an introduction to what leadership is, and some highlights from what we had also done. We are just touching bits and bits of what we did last year. And for those who are not able to join us, we will be making fresh reflections. Those who are reflections of 2022, now we are looking at the reflections of 2023. And so what are we looking at? You're going to be looking at what leadership is, just going to be touching on those very key areas or those very key aspects about leadership. And then you're going to also be looking at then the leadership in business. And what does it entail? Is there a certain formula of having a business, of having leadership in business? Are we leading in the right way? Are we leading as we should? What is lacking in our businesses? Could it be that our businesses are not well led, and thus maybe we have stagnated somewhere? You're going to be having those reflections, and you're also going to look at the leadership attributes. What is that about a leader that makes them stand out, that makes them different, or that makes them then able to manage what they do or to be effective in what they do? We'll also be looking at the influence, the power of influence in leadership. Actually, we say that leadership is influence, and without influence, leadership cannot be complete or cannot be effective. We'll also be touching on authentic leadership. What is the authenticity when it comes to leadership? What are those things that are very, very critical when it comes to authentic leadership? And what does it entail? Is it all round? Does it touch on you as a person? Does it touch on your purpose? Does it touch on the teams that you lead? You're going to be having that reflection. And then you're going to finally look at ethical leadership. In the world we are today, it's very important to be aware of your surroundings. There's that one point where you have to ask yourself, yes, I'm in this field, but am I doing things the right way? Is this what is expected of me? Am I in the right books? Am I in the right books with my registrars, those who have registered my organization? Are there other things that maybe I require to have done? Can I be trusted? Can I be counted upon? How am I, what difference am I making in my area of leadership? So you're going to be looking at all that and then be constantly making reflections on how we lead. How is it that we lead? Because in every of these areas that we are touching on in today's session, in today's 2 hours session, you're going to be asking ourselves, then what is it that how do we lead? And so that as we say how we lead, you're going to be making those personal reflections and asking ourselves then, what do we need to do? What is in my leadership? What in my leadership maybe needs to have some adjustments? What in my leadership then needs to make more impact on my business, on those that I lead, or on those that maybe look upon me as a mentor? So that is how our today looks like. And just like we have already said, or like I've already said, this module is about giving us insights, the dynamics on what it is that, how to successfully then be able to lead and build great teams. For those who, we started by saying that when you are alone in a business, at times you are your own leader. But as a business grows, you incorporate other people along the way, and so that they keep growing your business. So how are you leading those people? Do you have great teams that can be counted upon, that you can also sometimes sit back when the weather is too much on you, and leave them to run the business without your input, or just with you giving them the guidance? Have you been able to lead those great teams? If you haven't, then what is it that you need to do? You're also going to be looking at how to implement effective, you're saying that the module then helps us be able to implement effective strategies that enhances the business growth. And so that once the business grows, when it's on the right trajectory, then we can now start saying that we are not turning back. You're not at that point where 3 years after opening businesses, people give up. So what are those strategies? Are you able then in your leadership, on your leadership journey, are you able to give the teams then the rest of the work to do, so that you concentrate on the strategic leadership of the organization, of your business? What are those strategies that you need to do, that you need to put in place? You're also going to be looking at how leadership then helps boost staff morale. These teams that you are leading, how is their morale? Can they be counted on? Are they happy to be counted? Are they happy to be part of your organization? How is their morale like? Are they motivated? What is it that you need to do so that maybe they can also feel that they are part of you? Because once you have people who also believe in your organization and believe in what you are doing, and they are confident in what they are doing, then you'll have you can be sure that your business will grow, because your productivity will improve, and that reduces turnover in the long run. When people are not motivated, when people have low morale, you'll find that they'll always be looking for greener pastures. How about making your organization so settling for them, so that they don't even have to keep looking for other places to go to? So I want to start by asking us, even as I ask myself, that who is a good leader? Wherever you are, maybe at that moment, wherever even you're watching us from, what around you points to good leadership? Who is a good leader to you? Have you experienced good leadership? Maybe where you are. Have you been nurtured? Who do you admire? Who do you admire? Who is your hero in leadership? How much of leadership do we see around us? And I want to tell you that wherever you are, there's a mark. There's something that points to good leadership. I want to, just by looking around here, when I am in this room where I'm taking this call from, I see a lot of leadership around me. You can see that some work has been put into making the room around habitable and very comfortable. Wherever you are, wherever you're taking this call from, I believe you can see leadership. When you get to the town of the towns of Nakuru, Nairobi, as has been mentioned, there are those who are in Isinya, Nyeri, at the river, Mombasa, Eldoret, and I believe many more who are joining us. Wherever you are, whenever you go to your local town, what leadership do you see? What is it that you see that needs to be addressed? And probably when you give it, is it acted on? So there is, I want to conclude by saying that there is so much of leadership that we see around us. If we open our eyes, and this will now help us get to make reflections on what you're doing so that you can also become good leaders, so that you can also be people who make that difference. When I say that leadership is around us, I want to play something for us so that which will point to us that leadership is in many forms. I want to play something. It's something that you will just see. It doesn't have much sound, but what you see when you look at it with that eye of leadership is wherever. Leadership can be in many spheres. Leadership can be seen everywhere, just like I've said. And wherever we are, we can see leadership. So let's watch this very briefly before I take us through more on leadership. Great. Leadership is around us. I know that you have been able to note, for those who are able to watch and concentrate on what, more than the animation, what did you see? Were you able to see some insects which were following their leader? There was the first one that was taking leadership, and then the others would follow. I hope you're able to note that that's leadership. I hope that you're able to see some birds following their leader, right? And when there was a big bird around, the bigger bird or the leader bird was able to point out to the rest, it's time to change the direction. Yes, that is leadership. I hope you're also able to see some fish who are under the water, and they were all following a certain direction. Then a bigger fish appeared, which was a threat, which was danger. And what did the leader fish do? Immediately change the direction, and because they had great followers behind them, they were able to follow the leader, and then now the bigger fish do not become a danger to them. I believe we've been able to see that. That is a demonstration of leadership. And as we go on, I believe that you continue making comments even as we share these insights on leadership. So indeed, leadership is around us. If we choose to look at even our surrounding, we'll see so much of leadership. And one thing that probably you've been able to see is that those who are following, the insects, the fish, the birds, they believe so much in their leader. Their leader set the pace, the leader set the direction. Now that is who we are today. And that is what this is about. It's about making us understand, or making us reflect on how then we can be great leaders, so that our leaders, our followers have confidence in us. If the bigger fish had changed the direction, and then there are some opposition fish that decide that they are not following their leader, then they would have been, a prey to the bigger fish. So it's about pointing out, or it's about that aspect of having people follow you as a leader. How are you leading? What insights do you give to your followers? What is that, what I would call vibe, that your followers can easily see you and believe you and trust you, so that with you on the steering, and them following you, then you're able to provide some sense of direction, and your business will thrive. So what is leadership? Part of what you've just seen is leadership, like I've shared. That is leadership. And leadership can be looked at. There are so many definitions on leadership, but I want to look at what would make sense to us at this point. And I want to start saying that when someone is willing to stand up front, to be either the hero or take responsibility of a given goal, like what you've just seen, the leader of all those animals was willing to stand up front and change and steer the direction, change the direction, so that the others can be safe. That's what a leader is. That's according to Darlene Tennis. Another definition of a leader is a leader leading by example and with the integrity to do the things that are even not popular, or even when it is not popular. You lead by example, you set the pace, and with that integrity, that you will do the right thing, even at times when it is not popular. I said, when we were talking about, when you did customer relations, when you did customer excellence, I pointed, and I remember saying, sometimes as leaders, or when we own businesses, depending on how we relate with our customers, or depending on how we relate with our internal customers, who are our teams, at times it can be a very lonely journey. But what makes it lonely is that maybe as you set the business, as you set the direction you want your business to take, at times you'll be leading them into things which are probably not very popular, or which are not very easy, so that your business can thrive. And again, you do not want to get into the wrong side of the law. So it is that integrity to do the right thing, even when it is not popular. And we are going to see more of this when we look at the other aspects of leadership, and especially ethical leadership. Leadership is about three things: to listen, to inspire, and to empower. Look at that. Our team leaders, as team leaders, you've got to listen to your teams. You've got to listen to your people. You've got to inspire them and empower them. That way, then you can sit back and and let them take leadership when it is meant to. Because like we'll see, when you're doing influence, it is a good leader also is able to produce other leaders. And it is not something that happens. It's not a switch. It's something that you have got to keep doing along the way, and even as you lead, even as you do what you do in your organization. And then that is according to Annie Field. And then the main definition of a leader is someone who has followers. That's Peter Drucker. Followers, like you saw, the lead insect, the lead ant, the lead fish, the lead bird, and others following, so that they can be in the right place, so that they can be where they are required, or where there is no danger. Looking at leadership in business, I want to say that, having now seen what leadership is, no business can function effectively without leadership. Indeed, just like I've said that a leader has that integrity to do the right thing, even when it's not popular. No business will function without leadership. Otherwise, it will not go on. It will not see its third birthday if there is no leadership. So as the leaders who are in this meeting, we got to ask ourselves, then, how are we functioning in our businesses? Or what is it that probably is missing in our businesses? So that is it our leadership? What do we need to do? I also want to say that leaders exist at every level, providing guidance, motivation, and clarity inspiring confidence among those around them. And when you inspire this, when you're inspiring confidence among those that are around you, they may actually be your fellow people, the people that you have employed. They may be your customers. They may be your partners in business, all those. So at every level in organizations, you'll find that there is leadership. And this leadership, because you have seen that businesses will not exist without leadership, is where now guidance is sought, is where motivation, is where clarity is sought, is where even taking that, being the first one, you want to bite that bullet. And great leaders are those that are able to bite the bullet on behalf of their teams, or as a way of taking or of setting the pace for the organization. If you want to if you want to lead at the front, and at times willing to take even the risks that are in business, and you do that so that the businesses can thrive, and more than that, that your team members are happy, they are motivated, they are inspired. So that is what business leadership in business is. And I also want to say that how we impact on those around us and how and our actions affect the success of our organizations or the divisions, and this is because of your leadership. How you work with those around you. And I've said that a good leader has followers. Leadership is influence, and a good leader has followers. How you work with those, how you impact on them, how you connect with them, it determines, is your organization going to be successful, or will you have divisions? How are you leading? Is it a divide and rule, or is it a team effort where you can all come together and steer some direction together while you take the leadership, while you take the first step, and then others can follow you? So all this is dependent on how you lead. So that is in business. And you're going to keep making a reflection. I've already said this, inspiring those, and they could be among the staff members or not, inspiring and motivating and providing clarity, providing direction. So what will a leader do so that they can have their organizations thriving, or they can have some degree of growth in the organization, such that you're not stagnating, such that you can, when you look at people, the way you brought them into the organization, those who have team members, you can confidently say, I know I have grown so and so, I know I have seen improvement in so and so. And once you do this, when you cultivate that sense of ownership within people, or sense of being appreciated within the people that you work with, you'll find that people will confidently stay with you without looking around, or without looking for the greener pastures, as I said. So it's about inspiring, it's about motivating and supporting their teams so that they can accomplish those organization goals. And that is now where it comes, this is where leadership comes in. You want to tie the organization goals to those of the individuals. And this is now by how we connect. That's why I said how you connect, how you impact on those around you. And this comes out then when you are able to become great influencers as leaders, so that now your members, your followers can feel inspired, can have some sense of belonging, can confidently say they are motivated, and so that they feel supported, and then the organization can be able to move and not stagnate in one place. In business, there is no single characteristic that defines a good leader. Whatever you are doing right now, you are doing well. You are doing well in your own space. I want to commend you, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, for whatever you are doing. Yes, there's so much that is attached to leadership. And we've said that without a business will not do well without leadership. But it's a composition of so much, of so many things that probably you look for granted that really matter. It is those soft things that are maybe ignored in the organization, in your relationship with your teams, that really, really do count. So when you have leadership skills then, which you're going to be looking at as you go along, it enables one to make more effective decisions, focus on your own personal vision. As a leader of the business, you have to have your vision that is tied to that of the organization. And then you're able to progress towards achieving the goals of one business. So once you tie all these things that you're discussing together, you're able to make, like I said when we started, about making strategic, you have strategies in place that will contribute to growing your business or stabilizing your business. And when you do that, then you have a vision in place, and this vision will be clearly, maybe it will be clear to your team members or to those that are your followers, so that they are able to progress towards then achieving the goals of one business. Yeah, so that is what business in leadership is. And once you now tie all these things that you're discussing, you'll find that you'll be successful in leadership. You'll be successful in business. Yeah. And so the good leader, then they learn from what they can do in order to continually refine their leadership style. I said, and as I started, that that there is no end to learning. There is no end to knowledge. So even as you do what you're doing, and I've already said that whatever you are doing, wherever you are, you're doing a good job. What can you do then to continually refine what you are doing? There's your style of leadership, the way that you others get to feel your presence, others get to feel that sense of belonging, others get to want to follow you even more. So whatever you are, you want to keep on making a difference. You want to keep on making an improvement. You don't want to stop at where you are and say, after all, my team members are very motivated. They haven't left. So I am good. I'm doing well. Never stop there. Continually refine your leadership style. In this session today, I'll not be talking more about leadership style. I'll not dwell much on it. But in the next session on Friday, I'll be talking more to us about leadership style. So a leader then is able to devise new and more effective ways. Like you said, we talked about continually refining your leadership style. It's about defining new and more effective ways of dealing with situations. Because like we have said in the previous sessions, that the world keeps changing. The needs of the clients keep changing. So many things, there are so many things that come in the market, many products, many services, many competitors in the market. Then as you as the business owner or as a leader in the business, you can't just close your ears or close your eyes on what's happening around you. You want to keep on defining, coming up with new effective ways of even reaching out to those clients, reaching out to your suppliers, reaching out to your partners, and reaching out to even those who you do business with, so that then you can be able to remain relevant, and you can be able to still be competitive in the field that you are in. And as you're doing all this, you're not going to focus on strategy and forget your followers focus. Because as you're leading, again, wherever you are in your space, don't forget that you have people. It's like in a family. Father and mother would not forget that they have children to think about, that need school fees, that need their upkeep, that need food, that need clothes. That's the same thing. You're a parent, and as you're leading your organization, you are a parent. So you cannot dare forget that there are those who are waiting for you, and who are looking at what you are doing, and who are looking up and trusting you for leadership or for guidance. So how a leader performs then will greatly impacts their business results, the team members they lead, and the sustainability, just like I've said. Then I want to ask us, since we have seen that the business results and those that we lead and and the team and the stability depends on us. Who is a good leader? And how much of leadership do we see around us? We'll keep making this reflection as we go on. We'll keep on making this reflection as we go on, remembering that, yes, we have got to set the pace on how our organizations do or perform. The results are dependent on us. And we are saying that you cannot forget that we have teams, we have followers who look up on us. And at the same time, we will not again stop there, because you have to keep on coming up with various ways or devise new ways of dealing with situations as they arise. So a leader has got to have, I think, how many pairs of ears, and think how many pairs of eyes, I think how many sets of teeth to keep smiling, yeah, and a mouth to keep communicating, because communication, like we said in the first, when we talked about customer excellence, is very, very, very important. So leadership is around us, and when we look at it, we will see, and when we look at lessons to learn from what's around us, from even how our competitors lead, it's never, you can pick great lessons from wherever we are, just like we are picking these lessons, just by listening in wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Ensure that you pick a lesson, you pick one or two things about leadership. Yeah. So Napoleon Hill said that the essence of leadership is being able to help others succeed through offering support to others and making a difference. Yeah, through offering support to others and making a difference. You are helping them succeed by offering support to them. You want to make a difference in your business. That's Napoleon Hill. In fact, he went further and said that if you want good results, sure results, and quick results as a leader, take care of those that you lead. Take care of their success. Take care of their well-being. Support them when they need you, and make a difference in your organization. And as you're making this difference, because when you say I'm making a difference, it's towards the growth, towards the sustainability of organizations. It's toward the lifeline of our businesses. So as we do this, we shall not forget that our team members are counting on us. So you cannot succeed alone. That is the point I'm really, really trying to pass on, that together everyone achieves more when you do it together. And that's why you have to have those sets of eyes, those sets of ears, those sets of, and a mind that is able to declutter even what's not good, what's not working. You declutter it and you move on, and you say, yes, that may not have gone well, but I will still journey on as a leader. So you're going to also be looking at then what makes a leader successful. And you're going to look at this in very many ways. You're going to look at the things that gives a leader success, or what are those attributes of a leader that makes them successful. Good leaders learn what they can do in order to continually refine their leadership style. I said this, and I'll keep repeating it, that we learn what you can do in order you refine your leadership style. You cannot refine that style. You cannot improve or refine what you do if you're not thinking about the moment, if you're not looking at what you're doing in the moment. So this is to say that you've got to be very, very cautious of what's around you, of how you are leading, of what's prevailing. What is it that really matters to you? What is that really matters to your business? So when you are now looking at that, when you're also looking at the impact you're making to those around you, or to those that you lead, to your followers, to those that count on you, then you keep on then coming up with ways of how to refine that, how to make it better, how to improve it, so that you're not comfortable and then our businesses go down. Influence. I was to talk about influence on its own, but I want to say, before we even talk about influence, stroke styles, I want to touch just a little bit on it, although I'll be dwelling more on it, is that approach to provide the right way to the team members, the right way to your team members. Which is it? Which is the team? Which is the right approach to you? Which is that right way? How are you planning? What are the strategies that you are putting in place and motivating people by including all the leadership styles? So I'll not dwell much on that because I'll be dwelling on it, but I cannot fail to touch on it because I'm about to talk about, or even as I'm talking about the attributes of a leader, I'm also going to later on zero in on leadership and influence, which is very, very critical for any leader. So a leader will work well or will succeed if they use their skills effectively. And what are these skills that every leader needs, you and I included? Communication, I've already touched on that. Motivating your teams. Creativity, because thinking on the ground, because you have different situations that keep arising, of the changes in environment, of the changes in so many things. Like for even some businesses, as we speak, in the last 2 weeks, we have been experiencing very heavy rains that could have, impacted on your business. What are you thinking on the ways of maybe of reaching your clients in a better way? Probably, if you do deliveries and the weather at times is affecting that. So thinking about what affects you as a business, that creativity, and looking at how you can then make amends. I remember dwelling on this a lot when I did entrepreneurship, that you cannot stop. You cannot say that this is how I do things, and I'm not going to change. Times will shake you. Times will just point to you on how you should become creative. And so, as a leader, it's very, very critical. Times times change, seasons change, your customers' needs will keep changing. So you got to keep on being creative. Then positivity, even when things are not looking well or are not doing as expected or are not turning out as expected, still remaining positive, which is what I dwelt in the first module on entrepreneurship, where I was talking about resilience. And of course, a good leader requires feedback or wants feedback from all areas of your business, including those that you follow. Let them give you feedback, and when you get feedback, don't just take it in and don't respond. When you get feedback, let it be useful, be it positive, be it negative, for on how you can improve your business. What are those attributes then of a leader? Having seen that the skills that will guide us, will steer us to become good leaders. Remember what we're constantly asking ourselves is that who is that good leader? Or in how are we leading? A good leader has a guiding vision. And I've already pointed out at this. And when you have that vision and you have looked at it and you have that vision clearly inculcated in the minds of, first of all, your own and those of the people that you work with and those that follow you, then you'll find that you are succeeding. A great leader has passion for what they do, that they are not forced, that they don't have to be motivated to do what they are doing. They are already comfortable doing it without being forced. That you're so passionate that even if it means putting in long hours, it doesn't matter. And I dealt with some of these things when I talked about the attributor, the entrepreneur. It's the same things that are coming to play even in this module. Integrity, to do the right thing even when it is not popular. Curiosity, and that is now how it ties with your curiosity ties with creativity. You want to know what's happening. You want to know then what changes you need to make around your products, around your services, so that you can be effective. You want to be a leader does not want to hide behind just the safe things, the safe movements. I say that a leader should be leading. You should be willing to lead from the front, willing sometimes to even take that bullet if it means, so that others then can follow. So for you to provide that leadership, you at times have to take lots of risk. Lots of risk for your organization, lots of risk for your teams, lots of risk even for your own well-being, but for the greater good of your organization and for your business. Dedication. Yeah. Passion and dedication go together. You're dedicated because you're passionate about what you're doing. You're willing to give that guidance whenever it is needed 24/7. You are willing to go out of your way for your team members so that they can also stand and they can also survive. They can be part of the organization so that they are not then thinking of the greener or whiter pastures. They are honest, an attribute of a great leader. Honesty is one that you can now, even when you get that feedback, you're honest to yourself, you're honest to your organization. Honesty even about as you grow your team members, at times you rub shoulders, but how you present it, you present even that feedback to them in an honest way, but in a way that is meant to build, not to unbuild. That's honesty. Honesty at times even to yourself. Honesty when you're telling yourself, if I continue in this way, we are going to close shop, or you're going to close, setup because you're not doing well. At times having those very, very difficult discussions with yourself, that's honesty. Honesty even to your suppliers at times when you're not able to, maybe honor what you have agreed with them. Yeah. Charisma, a charm that just draws people closer and closer to you. And charisma is not built overnight. It is something that is built over time. Something that people are drawn to you because of your dedication, because of your concern for them, because of your way of doing things, because of you being a problem solver, a great decision maker. You find that is a charisma. That is something that a great leader will have, and you find that when it comes to reproducing leaders, those with charisma, or great charisma, are able to produce great leaders. They may just produce leaders who are like them. And of course, a good listener. I remember talking about that. So, influence. Having looked at we've looked at the insights of a great leader. We've looked at what are those, what is it that a good leader needs to do, and what are those certain things that they need to have. We have looked at the skills. We have also looked at what business leadership in business is, and you have also looked at how leadership is defined and how can we then define it in our context. We have also been able to see that leadership is around us, and that has been very, very clear for us as we watch that small clip. And even as we also listen in, I believe you are making reflections on how then we are leading, what then we need to do in order to refine our styles, in order to refine the way that we deal with clients, in order to refine the way that we deal with those that we lead, and so that they can help us shape the future of our businesses. As one of the definitions in leadership, I said that leadership is influence. Leadership is influence. And I also say that a leader who is able to have followers is a great leader. So we are going then to look at what is influence. And one of the things that we say is that leadership is all about influencing a group of people. Being able to have, that charm that will be able to impact on people, but not impacting on them positively, not negatively, impacting on them positively, influencing a group of people, so that then you're able to go in the right direction, so that you're going to be in the same state of mind, so that then you're going to be on the same journey. And successful endeavors are the result of human effort that the ability to influence others is a derivation of. So in order to be able to influence others, what is that you require to have? Yeah. So for you to have that successful enterprise, you need to be able to influence others. And that's why we have said, as we started, leadership is influence. What does that entail? Interpersonal communication, conflict management, because conflicts will come along the way, problem solving, and I would even add decision making, and so many other things that are around, of course, the interest of the business and the interest of those that are around you. And that's why you say that I will repeat that a leader will need to really live in the moment, that they are not living on what happened 2 months ago. Oh, we did not make because we never were able to do this, unless you're reflecting on it as a way of helping you not step onto those hot beds that you came across. You want to look at how then you can build yourself, you can build your organization without looking back and looking ahead, looking at the now and ahead. If there are conflicts, let them be managed and let them be solved. If there is a problem to be solved, let it be solved in a way that does not just suit you as the business owner, but that suits everybody. In the same thing that you're talking about, dealing with clients, you want to deal with clients in a way that gives them that sense of belonging. Your suppliers will feel that they are also, they also matter. And without them, you'll not succeed. So in building great partnerships with your teams, with those that we serve, the customers, and those that we partner with, then we will also be able to influence. You've got to have to influence if that has to become possible. I'm also saying that influence is a critical tool for the next century leaders, because true leadership incorporates empowering of teams, leading by example, offering the right support, and working towards producing future leaders. We've talked about problem solving. We've talked about decision making. We've talked about conflict management, and we've talked about interpersonal communication. All those things, that is what now forms part of what influence is, and it's a tool that every leader must have for you to be successful. Which is empowering of teams. It involves, as you're influencing, I said that the influence that you should look towards is a positive influence. Empowering of teams, leading by example, biting the bullet when you need to, offering the right support, and working towards producing that. Because you cannot produce somebody you are not going to hold the hand of your team members all through their life. Time comes when they can stand on their own. A baby starts with attempting to sit, then they start crawling, then they start making attempts to walk, and then after that, they start walking on their own. Does it stop there? No, there is running. There is even getting into dangers as they grow up. So what am I saying? That the more you hold the hand of your team members, the more you are building your business for the future, because you're not going to hold them at that point when they are crawling, and still hold their hand when they can stand on their own. So in other words, the more we influence people positively, the more we support them, the more we set the pace for them, the more we show up when we need to, leading by example. That is how then you're going to have future leaders. That is how you're going to reproduce leaders who will now take your mantle when it is required. There are times that probably you may not even be able to support your business. So that is what influence is. That is what taking care of those around you is, that you are growing yourself as an organization, you're growing people, you're growing yourself, of course, as an entity. First of all, you start with you as a leader. And as you're growing yourself, as part of influence, you're growing people. Yeah, because you've seen that you cannot succeed alone. And as you grow people, what is it doing to your organization? You're growing organization. I said earlier that when we have motivated teams, when you have people who are who have a sense of belonging in your organization, then they will not keep on looking for other pastures. So as you grow yourself, you grow people, you grow the organization. Those are some of the best things to think about in regards to influencing. So you want to make you want to have a sense of some positivity around you, which is one of the skills that we said in business. You got to have that positivity. And as you impact on those that you lead, then you're not just doing good to yourself or to them that you lead, but you're also doing a lot of justice to the organization. So the more we influence, the more the growth is. So some more insights into influence. We've already said that leadership is influence. And we've looked at the various ways we can influence by offering support, interpersonal communication, even positively managing conflict, yeah, problem solving, making decisions. So leadership is about that, or successful leadership is about that. Remember, we started by asking, who is a good leader? Who is a successful leader? So that we are now going to we are going to then differentiate the good leader from the bad leader, even as we make reflections ourselves and see what we need to do so that we can be that one who is counted as a good leader. Our influence with others is not in all areas. That's why I said we cannot be supporting people when they are crawling and still be supporting them when they are running. Yeah, so it is not in all areas, but you are also, again, you're going to influence, you cannot influence people wholesomely. There are some certain aspects about their work that you'll be influencing them. And so by understanding your team members, by understanding them as individuals, by understanding their need for growth, or the need to develop themselves, or the need to and as you're developing them, you're also developing your organizations. So your influence is not in all areas. There are other areas you'll be able to influence. There may be others where you may not be successful. And of course, with influence comes responsibility. It's about others. And as you're talking about others, you're talking about those that you lead, your clients, your partners, your suppliers, and so many others. So once we take upon ourselves as leaders to influence, there is some responsibility that comes with it, so that then you can be able to effectively influence them in those areas that they can be they are influenceable. The areas where they need support, the areas where they need their hands to be held, the areas where they probably need some motivation, yeah, some hope, renewing of hope, a sense of responsibility, all that. So with influence comes responsibility. And my influence with others is either positive or negative. You can negatively influence people, you can positively influence people. But we are saying that we are better, we want to, as a leader, you of course want to influence people positively. And our influence can grow. Your influence can grow. And the more you're growing, the more your influence grows, the more the organization benefits, because you've seen you grow yourself, you grow others, you grow the organization. So your influence can grow. You may not be influencing, your level of influence will not be the same when you're influencing people that when you had a small team of 5 people, and now your team has grown to 20 people. You got to really be figuring on how then to impact the lives of all those that require you to support them, so that your organization can grow. So our influence can grow and grow in the right direction. And people of positive influence add value to others. Imagine. And that's why we say you can say that you've said that positive influence with others is either positive or negative. People of positive influence add value to others. So then if you're adding, if your influence is growing, let it be the value that is growing towards those that require your support. So as your influence grows, your value towards them is, and the more then your value towards them, the organization value towards those that you lead has grown, then you can confidently say that these are people who cannot go elsewhere. That is what gives people a sense of belonging in your organization, a sense of belonging in feeling appreciated, that I matter. So we said that with influence comes responsibility. So what is that? What are those things that you require to do? What does the influencer stand for? Influencer stands for, we start with I. I is integrity, and we have already mentioned integrity. Integrity with others. And we say that honesty, that sense of even doing the right thing when it is not popular. Integrity with people. Integrity with your suppliers. Integrity even when looking for business. There are many times that you are tempted to use the back door. There are many times that you will be tempted to maybe pay a percentage of what is required. Say, for example, our registration sometimes when it is beginning of the year and the people are going around, and maybe you just want to do something different, or you want to get your certificate. Consumer, yeah, a lot of, because it is a difficult times, but we are saying that we have integrity with people. Even that those who will at times approach you with those moves and you're like, I can confidently say, I don't subscribe to that. I am not that kind of a person. And is nurturing other people. I've talked about it as we did this. Talked about holding the members, our team members' hands, nurturing other people. Nurturing does not involve chewing people's food. No, it involves showing them how to hold that spoon, showing them how to put that food in their mouth, showing them even how the movement to make when they are swallowing. And of course, now from there, you leave it to digest. You leave it from there, now you leave them to digest. Nurturing other people so that tomorrow they are good. They are people who are useful in our organization. And F stands for faith, has faith in people. It's a journey. It's a journey that you have to walk together. And so when you have faith in people, it also frees you, it also frees your mind from worry, from stress, from anger, from at times taking everything on your own, in your own stride. And that is when a lot of people break, when you tend to take things in your own stride, when you want to do everything in that organization. Yeah, have faith in people. Try them, delegate some of the responsibilities you have to those that you have seen they have indicated that they are interested, or maybe they have shown some level of they have shown some level of ability to handle some tasks. So have faith in people. That is what F stands for. L is for listening to other people. I can't emphasize this. Of course, with influence, you cannot be able to influence people if you're not listening to them. How will you know where they are going? How will you know where it's paining? How will you know where they are having challenges? How will you know what kind of support they need from you? How will you know that they are even able? Just by listening to them, understanding them. U is for understanding people. Understand people. As you listen to them, as you have faith in people, then you understand them. So an influencer understands people. You understand them. As you listen to them, you understand them. Yeah. And as you understand them, and as you're giving them some of those responsibility, even as you're having faith in them, as part of nurturing, then you enlarge them. Because as you're giving them those responsibilities, even as you're giving them that sense of belonging, then you're enlarging them, and you're enlarging them for the good of their own well-being and for the good of the organization. So enlarging people. An influencer navigates for other people. You set the way, you lead, and others will follow you. That's an influencer. You navigate, you're not telling them to go to that. I think you can pass through that road. I know it has rained, but it is not a bad road. Just go and try it. Start. You are the one to start, navigate. Show them how to do about it. Let them have that confidence that you've been there, you've shown them, you've done it. And remember, even as you're navigating, there are times that you will fail. There are times that it will not go well, or it will not sit well. But the fact that you're showing them you can try. Many successful entrepreneurs have tried many things. Those things may not work well, but they have not given up. Navigating for others. C is for connecting. An influencer connects with other people. As you're doing all this, you're connecting, you're understanding, as you're listening, as you're having faith in, you're connecting with people. Yeah. And of course, E, enlarge and empowering. Yeah, the same, almost the same. You're enlarging them, you're empowering them. When you give people some sense of responsibility, they will also feel they're not going to start abusing the power. Of course, you're doing it in a way that is to show them that it's not to say that I'm the only one who can do it. I can also trust you to do it. And remember, we have seen about having faith in people, empowering people. And then lastly, reproducing other influencers, leaders. I talked about once you give people support, in the long run, you reproduce other influencers. And people tend to do what they see of their leader. You find that teams will always do what their leader does because you are setting the pace for them. So the more you do this, the more you will now be able to reproduce others who are doing what you're doing. And at times they may even do better than you're doing. Don't be threatened. Still take it well, because it is for your own good. It is for the good of your organization. It is good of your own growth. No organization wants to stay in one place. You want to grow. So the influencer, remember integrity with people, remember nurturing other people, remember having faith in people, remember listening to people, remember understanding people, remember enlarging people, remember navigating for other people, remember connecting with people, empower people, and reproducing other influencers. So what you notice in all these letters is that they are all connected. There's some connection with each. There's connection with integrity and nurturing. There is connection with faith, with understanding, with listening, with enlarging, with navigating, connecting, empowering, and reproducing. So then influencing becomes your way of life as you connect all these aspects of influencer, right from I to R, becomes your way of life. I believe influence is making some difference, or it's getting somewhere. Thank you for those claps and the gifts. I have received them, and at least I'm sure it is to show that we are making some progress, and it is making some sense. Thank you for that. And as we are asking ourselves, then how are we leading today? How can the leader effectively influence? Does the leadership seek improvement through change? Yeah, those are things that we want to keep asking ourselves, or to keep making reflections on. Is it through change? Is it through empowering people? What is it? I've talked about an influential leader reproducing other leaders. Thank you for those gifts. I received them. An influential leader reproduces. And you've talked about what comes with influence. It's empowering of team, leading by example, offering the right support, working towards reproducing future leaders and motivating people to support the implementing of the visions, just like a replaying. So in leadership and influence, you'll find that 85% of leaders attract followers. Yes, we say that leadership is having followers. A good leader has followers. So only 85% are able to attract followers. So still a good percentage, yeah. Then looking at having seen 85%, you have 15% remaining. Let's see what 10 do. 10% of leaders attract leaders. Attract leaders. So in the first lot, you have seen 85% attracting followers. Yeah. The next percent of 10, we have seen that 10% attract leaders. So a leader leads and others follow. Still making progress. 5% reproduces leaders. 5% of leaders reproduce. So you have been able not only to attract followers to the point of attracting leaders, but you have been able to reproduce leaders. And that is the highest mark of a successful leader, successful, influential leader. Yeah, where you have been able to produce somebody that you can pass the back to, you can pass the mantle to, and they can take over, and they can sit in for you. They can represent you in meetings. They can even present you in client negotiations. They can step in for you. They can represent you even when you have team meetings and you're not available as you grow. So your leadership, I said earlier that your leadership, your influence can grow. So the more you grow, you will come from attracting followers to attracting leaders, because your influence keeps growing with those that you are impacting on, to a point that you are producing leaders. And I wonder how many of us would want to be in this bracket. Would you want to be in the 85 where you're following, reproducing, you're having followers, or you're attracting followers, or attracting leaders, or would you want to be able to even reproduce an influencer like yourself? Food for thought. So I'm asking once again, how are we leading today? How are we leading? Even as I ask myself, how am I leading? Am I leading in the right way? How can the leader effectively influence? And we've seen you can effectively lead influence by growing your influence, by offering that support, by having faith. You've just seen the influence and what it stands for, from I to R, and what aspects of good leadership will enable the effective production of other leaders. What are those aspects of good leadership that will enable you to effectively produce other leaders? Maybe food for thought for us. What are those aspects of a good leader? What is that is so stands out for you? We can maybe give our comments on the chat. What is that is really stands out for you, that will make a leader be able to not only attract followers, or attract leaders, but also attract other leaders, or be able to reproduce other leaders? So that's great food. That's great food for us to think about. Even as we ask how we are leading, even as we are asking ourselves the way I'm leading, where am I headed? How am I? How would I place myself in terms of all those, from influence, from integrity with others, all the way right to reproducing others? How am I leading? Am I factoring in all those aspects of the influencer, to those that look up to me, to even those customers that I have that bank on my leadership, to have their products available, to have their needs met? Food for thought. And then I'm also asking us, before we take our break, can doing good be good for your business? Do leaders only seek improvement through change? What are your thoughts? Yeah, as you do good, is it good for your business? Do leaders only seek improvement through change, or there are other ways that they can keep on improving? They can improve their organizations through. Food for thought. Food for thought, even as we take our 10-minute break. We're going to take our 10-minute break and be back at 11 so that we continue with our sessions. But even as we continue, as we take our break, I want us to just reflect on what we are taking in this. You're going to make reflection on where we are at as leaders. We are going to make reflection on where we are in terms of how we are leading our teams, on how we are impacting on those around us, and how we are, and whether we need to do good for the good of the business. Is it good? Is doing good just good for you, or is it also good for your business? And then can we also seek improvement through change? Or how else then can we seek improvement to those that we serve, to those that that look up to us? So I hope that you have been so far. You have thought through your journey as a leader. Even as I'm also thinking about mine. Even as I'm also, you can use this knowledge to also impact on others. Even as I'm also thinking about how else I can improve my journey as a leader, so that tomorrow I'll not only have grown my influence, but I'll also have impacted positively on those that I lead. So you're going to take a break, and then those gifts are received. Thank you for the gifts and the claps and the everything, and then the love heart. Thank you. I see that at least we are connecting. You're making progress. I see they have come in big numbers. The claps. Thank you. Thank you. The gifts, I received them. I received them. The thumbs up, thank you. The love heart, the smile. I love this. This is at least, this is a way, it's our connecting, even as we continue influencing each other. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your feedback. Oh, they've come in loads. I think there was some traffic somewhere zimefunguliwa zote sasa. In the morning it was raining, kulikuwa na traffic nyingi, so I can say, yeah. Yes, thank you so much for that feedback. I can see that we are all communicating and we are all making sense of this, even as we reflect on our own journeys as leaders. So you're going to take our 10-minute break and be back at 11. Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments and gifts and love hearts and all that. I appreciate. So I take a break. Mantri, I don't know whether there's anything you'd like to tell the team.
No, for now, we are good. I think we can proceed for the break. Thank you.
All right, let's go for a break and you can in leadership. Yeah, so that is why this is important, and we keep responding to one another. We keep sharing our thoughts, so that in our journeys as leaders, then you are making steps in the right direction. And I stopped at as I was talking about, as I was asking each one of us how we are leading today. That is a reflection you are to make as we went for our break. And then you're also asking how the leader can effectively influence with all those things that you talked about, influencing right from I up to R, and what aspects of good leadership will enable production of other leaders. Because you've seen, I think it's the hallmark for any leader. Any leader would want to produce other leaders. Yes, it is okay to attract followers. It is okay to attract other leaders, but more than anything else, being able to reproduce other leaders who you can pass the baton to. I think it's the only, it's what every leader would desire to be able to. So what are those aspects of good leadership? And we'll keep making this, we shall keep on making these reflections, even as we ask ourselves, what stands out for I as a leader, I as a person, you name yourself. What is it that probably I could improve on so that I can become a more effective leader, and especially to those who look up to me, and for those that I lead. I want us to warm up. It's a cold morning. I want us to do some warm up. It's a cold morning. And so that we can continue getting engaged and we can still continue feeling part of this training, you're going to do exactly what we did last time. We are going to make moves as you see on the screen. Please ensure that you make these moves, because it's to help you. It's to help you ease. The cold has a way of when you pull in some cold, our thoughts start becoming cold towards everything. You start becoming protective of yourself. You start defending your body against colds, against flus. So the body has that tendency of on this cold weather also becoming a bit stiff. So let's do some warm up with this exercise. And so please promise me that wherever you are, we'll do what's on the screen. Okay, I'm about to play it. I see laughter, I see shock, I see claps. So I think we have all been able to participate in it. I hope you have participated and clapped, even as you are clapping. Yeah, I'm feeling warmer than I felt. I see the clap. I hope as you participated, as you did the clap, you are also doing those moves. I was able to do my own as well. Whenever I am seated, it's good. It keeps us going. So even in this wet season, in this cold season, let us continue to take care of our well-being. Let's keep ourselves warm, and even as much as we can, when you get a chance to exercise, let's do so for the good of our own well-being. Great. We started by saying, thank you for the gifts, I received them. How much of leadership do we see around us? That's where we started. And I still want us to say, because I have asked, thanks for the clap and for all that, so we shall continue now. I started by saying, what are those aspects of a good leader that makes them? As I started now this session, session 2, that I reminded us what we said about what we see around us, and that we are trying to look out for those great aspects of a leader that makes them stand out and be able to produce other leaders. What are those hundred? So as you're making these reflections, you're also going to keep on having illustrations when they come our way. We see how we can connect with them. We see how what we can pick, because we said that leadership is around us. Let's watch this, and then so that I can continue to the next thing. But before I can continue to the next thing, I'm going to have us just reflect on what some of those things that we see around us that represent leadership. Okay. Sorry.
โอ้ยจะรู้จักทางเดินอยู่ไหนหายไปไหนแล้วจะทำยังไงดีช่วยด้วยเราต้องอยู่นี่ไปช่วยชีวิตอย่าเพิ่งแตกตื่นพวกเราฝึกมาอย่างมืออาชีพเอาล่ะสงบอารมณ์เราจะเดินออกใบไม้ใบนั้นไปเดินออกใบไม้เหรอผมว่าคงทำไม่ได้โอ้ไร้สาระไอ้นี่เราเรื่องเล็กเทียบกับภัยพิบัติปี93นั่นแหละดีได้ทำได้ดีมากเลยเดินตรงมาเรื่อยๆเดินมาเรื่อยๆมองตาฉันไว้นะอย่ามองบอกแวกนั่นไงเจอเส้นทางเดิมแล้วขอบคุณมิสเตอร์สอนทำได้เยี่ยมมากทุกคน
วิตายจริงเขาเดินห่างกันจังนะมิสเตอร์ซอยดูนางพญาดีไหม
Wow. Yeah, I see laughter. I think you have enjoyed, but even as you enjoyed, I believe you picked something. Hands up, anyone who understood that language? Anybody who understood that language? Hands up. Okay. I see people. I see response. Are we sure you understood? But I know there is something that you are able to pick. The smile tells me that those ones are telling me, those ones, I don't think, they are not applying integrity in leadership. We said you have to say the same thing, the right thing. Eh? Anyway, even I am being very honest, I didn't understand that language, but I chose to understand it in this sense. And I know that we all did. That you saw some activity with the ants, and it was very organized activity. There are some that were on top of the trees. I hope you are shocked as I am that an ant can actually, be able to pull a whole comb of maize, and then they were putting it down. And then there was some other ants. There are some others now. The lower level were being given loads, and it was very organized. The minute they get to the place, something they get their load from up. There are those who are given onions. There are those who are given maize. And I don't know whether as I did, you're able to see the leader really influence their teams effectively and offering support. Because at some point, I hope you saw as I did, there was some crisis. What was the crisis? There was a very big leaf that fell. Think about COVID, how just COVID came and disrupted us and disrupted our lives, and you were unable to proceed, So the way they were going in a very, very orderly way to take all this, whatever the load each one had, It's a certain place they were all going up and then dropping it and then going down. But then there was this disruption. And what happened when there was disruption? They looked around, they started looking around and what's happening. Of course, there is grumbling whenever there is a crisis or whenever there is a disruption to how we are doing things, our daily how we carry out our activities daily. There's always grumbling, and then the leader was quick to come and tell them not to. That's when I was asking them, did you understand that language? Did you hear what the leader was telling them? But at least you are able to see. Anyway, in no time, there was order, and they were back on the road again towards where they were taking the proceeds, the luggage that they had, each had. And so in no time, the leader was able to give the direction, and in no time, they were able to go back to normal. Now, think about you and the people that look up to you. Think about you and the people that you lead. Think about you and the way you influence others. Are you supporting them effectively, such that you're able to tell when they need your hand, when they need to hold your hand, when they need to have that your support, when they just need to feel your presence, be it emotionally, be it physically? Are your members, are your teams able to, can they count on you? Can they see this of you? Can they say can they confidently trust their leaders, to come through for them when they need them? So that is what you're looking at today. And then that is what the reflection was about. Are we leading? And that illustration was just to show us, indeed, you can influence even in difficult situations or easy situations. And there are those aspects of good leadership that will enable effective production. I know, and I think from what you saw, I believe you saw communication, you must have seen problem solving, you must have seen crisis management. I don't know whether there was conflict as opposed to that crisis. Maybe you have hit me, maybe you have why have you stepped on me? Why didn't you see the relief? All that can lead to conflict. All those aspects that I talked about as I started the training. So the leader is always on the lookout. The leaders should always be on the lookout to find out what is it that they can do, what is it that they can do to effectively support, offer their team support, to come in when they are required. And that is what you are talking about. I want to go to, as part of our search for what were those critical aspects of a leader that help them maybe even manage in times of crisis, come through when things are difficult. I want to talk about authentic leadership, so that you're asking us further to what you have seen as the need for influence in leadership. What are those other aspects of a leader that are very critical? And I want to bring up the aspect of authentic leadership, which is the healthy alignment between your internal values, your beliefs, and your external behaviors. When you're an authentic leader, you have the integrity and skills to make the right choices when necessary. We just saw a leader make the right choices just when it was required, when it was necessary for them to come in, so that the teams could not stop, so that the order could not, the disruption could not continue for long. Yes? So a leader who is authentic then has has alignment between their beliefs, their values, and their external behavior. So their internal value then represents the external behavior, brings out the internal values and the beliefs in them, because they are well aligned and their alignment is healthy. Leadership success starts with authenticity. That is with working without compromising one's value and personality. You are healthily aligned between your beliefs, between your whatever it is, that your values and what you bring out, what others are able to see, your interactions, your external interactions with others, how you communicate, really representing what is the inside. It comes from finding one style and their way of leading. You're able to, I remember saying this, that a leader has got to be on the moment. You want to be the here and now. That's what in counseling, we talk about the here and now. You got to really be aware of what is your environment like. what are your prevailing circumstances? What is that is hindering you from effective production? What is affecting your leadership? You've got to really be on the moment, so that when you have found out what's happening and how you are leading, then you're able to make life decisions that reflect your ethics and your personality. So you don't really bow down, you don't get out so much from who you are, because you have factored in every aspect about you, every aspect about your value, and you are also well-rounded. So an authentic leader, those are the five, the six aspects of the 5 aspects of the authentic leader. Their purpose is clearly defined, their values, their heart, they have self-discipline, and their relationships. Now, look at self-discipline, because they have to be really careful on how they are externally represented, and how they are externally represented defines the kind of relationships they are going to have. So the inner part, the value, the purpose, and the heart is not very, very away. Is healthily aligned. One is not west and the other one north. No, they are all together and they are all in the same direction. When you talk about purpose, what is it? From understanding yourself and your passions, which define your leadership. That is what authentic leadership is, defined by those 5 critical aspects: the purpose, the values, the heart, connected relationships, and self-discipline. Purpose, from understanding yourself and your passion. Do you understand who you are? Then your values. What are those values that can define you? And your values are usually revealed under pressure. Like you saw of that leader, there was pressure, there is crisis, and the team members wanted them to come up with a solution. Probably they were in a board meeting, but they just had to excuse themselves and come out. Yeah. And then the heart, your heart, you must leading compassionately, empathetically, and with courage. Stepping in when needed. You're compassionate. You're not worried about that your teams are not worried. They know you step in. They know that you will come in when they need you. And of course, the connected relationships, which allow you to build trust and commitment. Healthy relationships. I've said that your inner purpose, values, and heart is internal, but now the connections, your relationships are shown. It's external. People can see how you relate with them. You have built trust in them. You have commitment in them. And the discipline, people are able to see your discipline, allows you to compete successfully, even when you have other competitors to work with. You don't do it, you don't do unhealthy competition. Allows you to set high standards for yourself, and hold yourself and others accountable, so that you are all walking in the one direction, so that your business you can confidently say that you have a team of people who are headed to the right direction. Not some going to the west, others to the north, south, northwest, northeast. Yeah, you are well aligned. So your self-discipline brings out that. Your self-discipline can be seen by others. The connection relationships can be seen by others. So that now what you do inside of your values, your purpose, your heart is brought out. That's now the healthy alignment that you're talking about. Yeah. And this is what we should all strive to have. So how can we be a more authentic leader? Well, how can we then, I think it looks like it is a bit hard. And according to Center for Creative Leadership, what is it that you can do to be an authentic leader? One, rethink your leadership image, because others are watching you. What are they seeing? What are they seeing? How is your light shining in leadership? What can your team members say? What are those that you interact with? What can they say about your leadership? Can they emulate your style? Can they emulate how you lead them? Can they count on you to be their mentor? Secondly, you increase your self-awareness. Are you self-aware? Are you really sure who you are? Do you know what your values are? Do you know what defines you? What is your purpose? Yeah. How is your heart like? Do you have connected relationships? First with yourself. Do you lead with empathy? Are you compassionate? Increase your self-awareness so that you get to see where you look at yourself and you give yourself feedback, you as a person. And so you see, as you increase your awareness, you get to be conscious of what's happening at that moment. Yeah. You also get to get conscious about how you respond to others, how you communicate with others. And then thirdly, assess your values, your likes and dislikes. Yeah. Your values, are they just for you, or are they for others? Your likes, your dislikes, assess them so that you're an authentic leader, and especially in respect to your organization, to those that you lead. Take action, but of course, get support. Get support from who? From those that you work with, from those that you count on for your business to thrive. And of course, work on effective communication. Communication is very, very critical for any leader. So you will rethink your leadership image. You will increase your self-awareness. You will assess your values, your likes and your dislikes, and then you take action, even as you get support, even remembering that there is what is seen about you as a leader. Does it really represent? It is a true representation of who you are inside. Work on effective communication. Yeah. And by aligning all those aspects of all those 5 aspects of your authentic leadership, you will succeed as a leader. Yes, we are still looking at the aspects that can make a good leader, can help you become a better influencer. Can doing good be good for your business? I asked us that before we went for our break. Can doing good be good for your business? There you are. There's a seesaw in your mind which is saying, good, bad, good, bad. What does it mean for your business? What is ethical leadership? I cannot talk about leadership and not mention ethical leadership, because it's very, very critical for us today as leaders and in the world today. Yeah. What is ethical? How do you understand ethical leadership? An ethical leader builds communities. An ethical leader shows justice. An ethical leader serves others, manifests honesty, respects others. Very, very well connected. Ethical and other aspects of a leader are very, very well, very, very. There's some. You find that they are all interconnected, because they form who you are. They form who you become. Yeah. Do you serve others? Do you build communities? Do you show justice? Do you respect others? Do you manifest honesty? Can people bank on you as the leader with integrity? Can people bank on you to be that authentic leader? Can people bank on you to be well grounded? Can people bank on you? Do you respect people? Do you serve others? Do you show justice? Especially with those that you work with and those that you lead. And then having looked at that, I'll also introduce you to the 5 principles of ethical leadership, which is just about what you have talked about. Very, very, it's about this. It's build up of this, of building community, showing justice, respecting others, manifesting and serving others, respecting others. Ethical leaders serve others. Ethical leaders are just. Ethical leaders are honest and uphold integrity, like we've seen in the influencer, and build communities. So principles of ethical leadership, and all that is about ethical. So who is this ethical leader? Sticks by their principles even at their toughest time, earns trust and credibility. Can you be counted upon? If you came and if we did an instant audit of you and your organization, what would we find? Would you be ready for it? Would you be okay? Are there some things that you need to streamline? Yeah. Have you stuck to your principles even as a task, or have you had to maybe bend some of your principles because times are hard? Ethics bring a special type of trust into an organization for both the individual and the group, and a competitive advantage if adopted for its own sake, not a means to an end. Yeah, for those that are organizations that are known to be ethical or driven by ethical leaders, they earn a special type of trust. Yeah, ethics leads to trust, and trust leads to sustainable competitive advantage. This is a business culture that everyone, any leader would want to inculcate for their members, for their teams, that will reject deception and nurture trust. Yeah. When you have been trusted upon, organizations will come looking for you, because anyone wants to work with an organization that is, or a leader who is ethical, sticks to their principles, does the right thing. And that's why I started by asking us, is doing the right thing good for your business? An ethical leader will drive out fear and eliminate issues that cannot be discussed. They will develop, articulate, and uphold high moral principles. Focuses on what is right for the organization as well as for the people. That's very commendable. What is good for the organization, not for the people. You're on a different boat with the organization and a different boat with the team members. Now you are all in the same in the same boat. You are headed for the right direction. Sets the example that others want to live by. Yeah. So what you are saying you do, others to do, you do it yourself. You don't tell people to drink water and then you drink wine. No. You lead by example. Is honest with self and others. Yeah. Is honest with others and themselves. Rethinking their own values, thinking their own self, is able to rethink their own stand as a leader, and is able to work on that. Is honest. That's why we say they uphold honesty at all times. Can be trusted. Yeah. And why is trust so important? It's a board of society. It's hard to build and easy to break. It is true. Trust is very, very easy to break. If you work with an organization and they can trust you and they have trusted how you do things, and you have also, you have lived up to their expectations, that trust may take time to be broken, because you are real with yourself, because you will not compromise value, you will not compromise quality, you will not compromise all those things that will make you rub shoulders with who are the people who are interested. You will not cut corners when things get tough. Yeah. Trust is hard to build and easy to break. Deception is the most dangerous enemy of trust. Any person who think about maybe a customer you had in the past, and then something came in between, and there was a level of trust that was involved. Think about how long it takes for you to even rebuild that relationship, to even be able to even get onto terms of doing business again. And even if you do business again, you find that there will always be that suspicion. There will always be suspicious of you. So trust is not easy to build. It takes time to be built, but to break it can just take a moment. So in ethical leadership, the best checks on deception are active inquiry. As a leader, you want to keep inquiring, checking of information. As a leader, you want to really keep on checking on what are the quality, your standards, what are the principles of the organization. Do you need any evidence? If there is any case that requires to be done, that requires to be found, can you assess that evidence? Yeah. And assessing whether good reasons for trust exist. Can you be trusted, and what are those good reasons why you should be trusted? And actually, as I've said, deception is a prime enemy of trust, but any act of bad management erodes trust. So as a leader, that's why it starts with you. That's why you have to set the example, you have to set the pace. Because you're looking at what is good for the organization and what is also good for your team members. So what is you're looking up, they are looking up to you. And so it starts with the leaders. And placing trust in an organization or even in people is risky. though even not trusting is risky. Yeah. So I want to say just more about ethical leadership, because it at times look like it is impossible to practice ethically, and especially in our country today, because corruption has eroded all avenues of business. Wherever you turn, corruption. But an ethical leader is able then to establish and communicate ethical policies. Even has drawn policies that are ethical, and they stick to their principles. They are not easily compromised. Develops a backbone of zero tolerance for ethical violations. When any of your team members does not live to those expectations or those policies, then zero tolerance. Those are the people who, if you're an ethical leader, anyone who does not, who dilutes those principles, you don't even think twice. You just let them go. Rewards ethical conduct. More than that, even those who have maybe who stand their ground and their principles, even when they are really compromised or they are driven up to the corner, then for such members, then you get to reward them. You treat, apart from that, it starts from home, it starts from Jerusalem. You treat everyone with fairness, dignity, and respect. So it starts from you. How is your environment, your internal environment, like in your organization? Is there fairness? Is there dignity? Is there respect from the lowest and the highest level of the organization? Servant leadership, where you are even willing to serve others. Because of that, there is no attitude when it comes to who leads. Anyone can take a broom and sweep. I don't mean that literally, as in we can all serve one another. We do the right thing both in the private and professional life, even when no one is looking. We don't just go and put on our ties and our good and say we are very, very ethical. And even for us ladies, we are very neatly and carry our handbags and sit pretty, that you are very ethical. But how about your private life? Are you ethical? So those are things that you have got to, that a leader will keep asking themselves. So that, what do others see of me? When no one is looking, what do I do? Do I cut those corners when no one can see? Yeah. And many times you have seen even our own leaders being taken to task to go and explain some of those events, some of those things, because social media has become the hawk that will see everything. Every little thing that you do becomes public to everyone. So do what you say you do, or stick to your principles even when no one is watching. Having talked about those two, because you have before break, we talked about the power of influence, we talked about the attributes of a leader, we've talked about what is it that makes a good leader, and you have seen that. Then now we have talked about this very, very, very closely connected. Yeah, and we have seen what is it that we need to do. And I think there is a lot that you can take away. There's a lot that you can take away from all this, from authentic leadership and from ethical leadership. That in authentic leader, we are looking at your purpose, your relationships, your values, your self-discipline, and your heart. Yeah, that is what defines you as a leader. And you have seen what is it that we need to do. And in ethical leadership, we are looking at building communities, serving others, manifesting honesty, and showing justice. So it's upon us. It's upon us to see, do we want to what do we want to, what kind of image do we want to send out there about us as leaders? Are we authentic enough? Are we ethical enough? And I want to ask us again, is doing good for your business? Is it good for your business to be authentic, to be ethical? What does it mean for your business? Or is it easy to cut those corners and then keep cutting them all through? The key lessons for today is that modern day business leaders will strive to develop a mission that motivates others to move with a passion towards a common goal. You have talked about that, and really talked about that when it came to influence. A leader leading by example and having the integrity to do the right thing even when it's not popular. Yeah, the I in influencer, that integrity, even in authenticity. Emulating leadership, the three things: to listen, to inspire, and to empower. And to be able to influence your teams effectively with or without force. That you don't have to use force. I say that influence can be negative or positive. That we can influence and add values to others positively. You layer the right attributes of a leader. All those things that you talked about, and I made reference to what you discussed when you did the module, the entrepreneurship module. We had those attributes. Align our teams around a common purpose. Yeah. Even when it comes to ethical leadership, you define what is right for the organization and what is right for the people, so that your teams are aligned. Even as you are also authentic, you are aligned around those 5 areas of your life that will be read like a book. What is inside is represented outside. And of course, upholds ethical leadership. Those are some of the key lessons for today. And like I said, this is just a pause to leadership. This was the first part of leadership. The module 5 is in 2 sessions. This is what you have shared today on leadership, on all those aspects of. I've just been introducing us to leadership and some of those expectations of what a good leader is. So actually, today we kept on asking ourselves, who is a good leader? How am I leading? What are those aspects about a leader that I need probably to work on so that it can get better? And then as year end, you're asking ourselves, what am I doing as a leader? How am I doing? How would you rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10? How would you rate yourself? Are you at 1? Are you at 9? Where are you? Yeah. Whatever you are doing as a leader, whatever you are, whatever rate you give yourself, does it serve your business effectively? Does it serve your business? Are you doing it in the right way? Are you doing your business in the right way? What should I do differently as a leader? What you need to, because you said you want to be authentic. You want to keep making constant reflection about ourselves, about our leadership styles, about our own values. You want to keep rethinking your value, your purpose, your heart, so that you're able to lead effectively. And then you ask yourself then, how, if you're doing that reflection and you're being very authentic about it, then what should you do differently in your leadership so that you make a difference? What area of your leadership is ailing? What area is ailing that requires just maybe some medication, or does it require ward treatment? Does it require outpatient treatment? Does it require ward admission 2 days? Or does it require ICU admission? So rate yourself, look at how you, whatever areas of your life that require some correction, by all means, by all standards, correct them for the good of your organization, for the good of your teams, and also for your own good. Yeah. So this is the reflection we want to keep making as we end. How you're doing as a leader. What is it how does it serve your business? What it needs to do differently for the good of you, for the good of that organization that you said. We are not just surviving as organizations. You want to thrive. You want to be the leaders in the field that you are in, the industry that you are. Whatever services you're providing, whatever products you're providing, you want to make a difference. You want to be there. You want to give your best, even as we still remain authentic leaders and also ethical. I want to remind you that we have another coming. We have another Dynamics 2 coming up. module 5. And in this module number 2, or leadership dynamics 2, we'll be empowered with effective decision-making strategies, as well as how to lead with emotional intelligence, given the dynamic nature of entrepreneurship. Additionally, through organization growth intelligence training, forward-looking leadership will be embedded. So this is what we will be discussing on Fridays, 2 days from now. It's not far. So just to rest tomorrow. And then we meet again at 9:30 on Tuesday, on Friday, so that we continue with that discussion that we've just started. Remember what I have said about making that reflection for us as leaders. Thank you for those hands up. Thank you for those comments. As you're asking ourselves how you're doing as a leader and how it serves your business, and does it serve your business effectively? If not, what should you do differently? So this is something. Thank you for those claps and the thumbs up. Oh, thank you. They keep it. They're encouraging. Many they are flowing, and so we are going to do that. And you're going to think, thank you for those gifts. I received them, and I'm going to come for these gifts. They seem to be very many. So I am amazed at the fact that we have stayed connected, and we have still kept the numbers that we started with. Sorry, I forgot to put, this is now the session of Q&A before the end. Thank you for those gifts. I received them, and I'm very, very amazed. I hope you have also kept warm, even as we have. Thank you for those love hearts. They are good. They encourage us. So you're going to go to that session where you now present any comments or questions or anything. Thank you for the love hearts. Oh, there are so many. Hey, Mantu, please put them in a bag. I'll come for them. Those
Yeah.
they are really coming. Eh? You can see them. Thank you so much. I want to hand it over to you, Mantu, so that you can make your comments, and then you give us the next thing in regards to the Q&A. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Annabelle. We really are grateful. Honesty. So I think we have been encouraged to be honest with ourselves, to understand our leadership styles, to ask ourselves, what is your leadership style? So thank you very much. And we also have lots of comments coming in, and people saying this is very educative, very insightful. So great comments coming in the chats. Thank you so much. We also have a few questions, and before even I go into the questions, there's a very interesting comment that goes, ethical leadership while dealing with the government, farm, wacha tu. So I don't know, Annabelle, maybe you can comment on that. In this economic, times and the type of leadership we are seeing, what would you advise in the current situation when it comes to ethical leadership? Thank you. Oh, Annabelle, please unmute.
Oh, sorry. You'd like me to take the question still, to take the question first?
You okay, you can make that comment, and then now we dive into the questions that are on the Q&A tab. Yes.
Wow, I know it's hard times, and we are all struggling. Each one of us is struggling, and indeed they are very, very difficult times, and difficult. I said corruption is peeping into our offices, is peeping into our handbags, is peeping everywhere. But authentic leadership and ethical leadership, it's still the way to go. What about you? You become that organization that is known for being non-corrupt. I know, and I can, you want to be that organization that can be known to treat its members well, and can be known to take care of the needs of their teams effectively. And I want to point on one that I mean, and I know they can be our great mentors because they are right here with us. We have been with Diamond Trust Bank for quite a while now, doing this program for them and talking and empowering their members. But one thing that has stood out for this organization is that they have not changed. They have not, their goalposts have not changed in regards to those who they are concerned about, their clients. This program, we started doing it in 2019. That was before COVID. And before COVID, things were a bit stable than they are today. But this organization that still keeps on follows up with their members. They want to understand their needs, and they also want to find out how their members are, and they are concerned about their well-being. So what am I saying by this? But that sometimes you got to be known what your values are. And so if leadership, I can say the leadership in Diamond Trust Bank, and I'm not belittling any other institute in any way, but I want to appreciate the institute that has been constant on this program. Out of all the others that we have worked with, this has really been one of the institutes that has maintained their support, have been consistent. So you as a business leader, you can also choose to be consistent in how your stand is, in how your principles are. Yeah, that you're not bending your rules. When you bend your rules, you never know what that means for your organization. You never know whether it's a trap. Yes, it's hard times. If somebody wants to do business with you, let them understand. Let them understand your principles. And that is why it's very critical that you draw those principles that are clearly inculcated in the minds of those that you work with, or those that are key players in your organization. So please, however hard it is, I would still go back to ethical leadership. I would still go back to that honesty and standing by your ground, so that you're known, so that you can be pointed out. You can stand out for doing the right thing, and your principles are not bended. Yes, Mantui, that's my stand.
Thank you. Thank you, Annabelle. That's really well put. And I think even just to reiterate, there was a comment you made: ethics leads to trust, and trust leads to sustainable competitive advantage. So that's very powerful. So now we can dive into the questions. We have Rahab Mbiu, who says, I look forward, this was at the beginning, I look forward to learning about leadership in board dynamics, even board composition if possible. So maybe it's something you can speak to, or also tackle during the leadership dynamics too. Would you want me to read all the questions and then you answer, or would you like them to tackle them one by one?
You read them like three or four, then I can tackle.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's from Rahab. And then we have Simon Ogenge, who asks, can cultural attitudes and societal norms affect leadership, and things like environment, reputation, and infrastructure? So things that are perhaps outside of your control. Yeah, and I'll close with one for this first part is, why do we have bad leaders? Yes, that's a heavy question and quite broad, but yes, why do we have bad leaders? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I like the comments on you're looking forward to the next session, and so I trust that you join us for our Friday session on module 2 or like leadership dynamics 2. Yes, we intended to dwell on some aspects on leadership, the leadership styles, and touching a little on emotional intelligence. So I'll see that's how that sits, and because leadership is very wide, even whatever it may not be captured in the next session in the next 2 days, I believe we can always plan for it in the future, and this is also a way that you can also connect with you and be able to support you, even if it's not covered then. But we are looking forward to broadening your mind more on leadership, because indeed leadership is is everything to your business, is what determines how your business competes and how your business also thrives amongst other businesses that are also competing for the same space and for the same customers and in the same environment. And so, yes, that takes me to the next question. The cultural environment, infrastructure concerns, yes, they will affect the business. I think we touched a little on them. If you're here for the entrepreneurship module, I think we touched on that, the business environment. I touched on that. There are those factors that you can control as an entrepreneur. Those are the internal ones. Yeah, but there are those that are external. There are those that are external, and within culture, I believe you can, whatever you can do in your workplace, you can that one can be contained because it can be internal, it can be within your workforce. Environment, infrastructure, there are some that are a bit on the outside, a bit external. Those are the forces that we say affect your business. They will always do. So for you as a leader is to be well aware. You stay with your ears on the ground, the eyes on the ground, to know what's happening, to be informed, to be alert, so that none of those things impact on you negatively. And so you are able also to see how to counter what measures then will counter those effects that these forces may have on your business. And thirdly, bad leaders. Why do we have bad leaders? Bad leaders are not authentic. Yeah, if you look at if you remember what I said about authenticity and the several things that you can do as a leader to be able to be authentic. It's about rethinking your image, increasing your self-awareness, assessing your values, dislike, taking action, effective communication. Now, when you are unwilling to do all this, or even if you've been a good leader, and then time comes and you don't want to rethink your image, you don't want to increase your self-awareness, you're not interested in reassessing your values because you are on a selfish stand, taking action, maybe response to feedback, that does not make you then a good leader. You're coming from a good to a bad leader. So a bad leader then is not authentic. A bad leader does not care about those that work with them, or those that make their organizations succeed. They're not interested in the welfare of their customer, the welfare of those that they serve, the welfare of even their partners. So bad leaders do exist, yes, but sometimes it's from a point of ignorance, but also from a point of not caring. At times when people make it, they start forgetting where they came from. But remember, Rome was not built in a day. So bad leaders do exist, but I believe we do not want to have those as we don't want to emulate bad leadership. We want to serve, to work as much as we can to becoming the best leaders that there can never be. Yes, Mantui.
Thank you, Annabelle. We have an interesting observation by Kimani Kahyu and also a clarion call. He says, integrity should be an individual effort. Let's remember charity begins at home. And he says, as Annabelle suggested, let's all take the integrity mantle. Very, very well put. Thank you, Kimani. And so now we have a question from Japheth, who begins by thanking you for the insightful session. And the question goes, how do you reprimand your employees in a good way so that they don't grow resistant or disobedient towards leadership? Yes, so maybe you can tackle that one. Thank you.
How we can reprimand employees in a good way. I remember when talking about honesty, authenticity, part of it is honesty and even ethical leadership. There is honesty. When an employee has made a mistake, put it as it were. Do not sugarcoat it. Do not put it in green and blue, put it in black and white. But remember, as a leader, now that's honesty. You're putting it as it is, but you give them a chance unless of course they've gotten out of, they've really gotten out of it. It's become a repeat. It's they're not learning from their mistakes. If it's something that is has been noted as a trend, then now that is what you can correct, and now come in and apply discipline measures. But when an employee is wrong, put it as it were to them, but do it with concern, out of tell it to them, not using arrogant language. Effectively communicate. You can still communicate assertively, and still be able to communicate so that you're putting sense in that employee. So you tell them as it were, but then now you come up with, then what way forward? What are we going to correct? And do this together. That's what a team is. And you're not going to lead well if you don't understand your team members where they are. Again, you're not saying that you ignore mistakes so that you can be called a good leader. No, you want to call them out as they are in black and white, but have way forward and always give people a chance, unless of course it becomes out of hand or it becomes like a repeat, or they start now taking advantage or taking you for granted. Back to you, Mantui. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. We have a comment from Raphael, who is challenging you to take a political class through this training. So that is on your quote. And we have who is Raphael is saying, is asking, can you take our leaders through this training? That is the political class. So I think that's on a lighter note. But yeah, we have maybe one more question from Duncan, who asks, can leadership be an all-round aspect? I mean, can a gang have a leader? Yeah, so I think that will be our final question for today. Even as you give your closing remarks. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I wish I could take them for this training. Please, on Monday, can they become your clients so that through Diamond Trust Bank, an organization that I really believe in, can become the platform for us to have them in a training, and we shall call it out as it is. I don't know whether we are referring to those at the bottom or at the top. Yes, they are, wherever it is, whenever leaders, whenever we address leaders, we breathe. I mean, we try to put sense in that good leadership is what causes organizations to thrive. Organizations, communities, whatever it is, they all can succeed through good leadership. So yes, if we got a chance, as Mantui will work out so that they become one of our clients, we shall be happy to take them through this training. Thank you, Kimani, for your comments on integrity. Thank you, most appreciated. And the last question is, the last concern is if leadership is everywhere, if even ants have leaders and fish have leaders, then of course even gangs have leaders. Leadership is all around. It is all around. Just like even in family, we have leaders. I started by saying that no organization can do well without leadership. So any entity that has no leadership will not do well, will not succeed. So even gangs, as you've said, for the wrong things, they also have leaders. They are those that they answer to. I've not been one, so I don't know the details, but I know that every entity requires, for any organization to have some order, to have some structures, to have some results. Yes, leadership is very important. My closing remarks for this, I want to just...
Sorry, Annabelle, I think we've just received like 2 more questions. So maybe you can also address those ones. We have Manga, who's asking, how do we deal with a leader at the workplace who is deceptive, middles in other departments using tribal cards? So this is leadership when you're on the receiving end. And then there's another question from an anonymous attendee who says aspects of leadership, we grow and are born into leadership. So can we partner on leadership aspects and partner with our weaknesses? So it's not quite clear, but I think it's addressing weaknesses. And, once you're aware of your weaknesses, how do you go about it? And then I can see.
Question I've not had it, but the first one I've had. The second one?
You've had the second. So it's an anonymous attendee who's speaking about we can grow and are born into leadership. So I'm assuming it's a question also around whether you grow into leadership or you're born into it. And then can we partner on leadership aspects and partner with our weaknesses? So maybe it's on how to grow on your weaknesses when it comes to leadership. And then, now the questions are coming in. We also have a hand raised. So maybe you can address those two, and then we go to I think Ashmi. Yes, Ashmi Shah, who has their hand raised. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have heard about deceptive leadership where you have a bad leader and you're on the receiving end. They are deceptive, and so you're wondering how to deal with it. If you report to them, even if they are deceptive, you still uphold your respect. You still do the best that what is required of you. But at a point at which then you're able to call it out in a way, maybe not disrespecting the person. My take would be you don't disrespect them. You still do your work. Remember, you are wherever they are. You don't have to be them. If you're clear on what is expected of you, you do as is required or as requested of those that nothing can be held against you. It can, or maybe not doing what is right as far as the organization is concerned. So you will respect them, but when you get a platform, maybe if you're able to have other people who are more senior than they are, and you have an opportunity to point it out with respect and humility, then you can go about it. If not, you just play that, you just keep on doing your best and hoping that it is not going to be your undoing, or is not going to dilute your work or affect the level of, or affect the standards of how you play out your roles in the organization. Wow, right. The other one is is a leader grown or born? There's always that debate is whether a leader is born. Whatever it is, whether you are born or you have become, or you have grown, probably you have just been groomed to become one, is that lessons in leadership never come to an end. I wouldn't say that there are people who are born leaders. Yes, it is. You could remember, as I said, when we were doing the first module, I remember telling us about our environment as children. What impacts on us in our formative years. There are those things that we are exposed to. Our caregivers, our parents, our teachers, those are very, very important in us. Now, if you come from a family that has leaders, that has probably leadership, let me say business, and maybe you have all become part of that business, even as you grew up, you find that there are certain things that you pick from your environment, from your immediate environment, which is your family. And you'll grow knowing that is the way. But that alone cannot make you a leader. Leadership is now what you're doing. Over time, people get to keep learning, keep embracing new lessons. Every day you are learning, every day you are improving yourself on how you can become a better leader. So there is that exposure. I have brought it out in a clear way. So we cannot say anyone is born a leader. It's work that has to be done every day, and people are always making amends to who they are. And that's why in authentic leadership, I've talked about knowing where you are at any one time and keeping on improving on that so that you can become a better leader. You don't get comfortable with your status quo. and you cannot improve your leadership. You want to keep improving where you are. Then can we, in growing our weaknesses, once you are able to identify your weakness, you should not, even if you're working with others, it is very, in authentic leadership, we talked about being self-aware, constantly taking time to become aware of where we are and who we are. At times even seeking feedback from others so that they can give you feedback on how you lead. And then you work on that. And not to say that anyone is perfect. We all have our flaws. We have weak points. We have our strengths. So leveraging all that strength and then working on our weaknesses. You, from your strengths, then you see how can I then, what can I blend in these two so that I don't remain weak all the time. The self-awareness in itself is courage, is maturity. And so once you identify your weakness, then you're able to come up with measures within yourself, within what you have available to you, to capitalize on those areas that are weak, and then you make them even your strength. Even the areas that you are weak in, you can make them your strengths by constantly working on it and constantly becoming aware that you need to keep improving yourself. So yes, you can still partner with others, and with those weaknesses, Bora, we have identified those weaknesses, we are conscious, and we are constantly working towards improving ourselves. It's not to say, like, this is who I am, I cannot change. No. Yeah. Back to you, Mantui.
Thank you, Annabelle. It's a continuous improvement journey, so there is never arriving. I think that's really, really well put. Thank you. We have two questions. We have one from Peter Jawo, who asks, how do you deal with a leader who is ever right? And then we have a question as well from Nora Lydia, still I think around the same strain. So how do I deal with a situation where it feels like the boss is out to get you while you're trying everything to be a good employee? And how do I stand up for myself without seeming rude or argumentative? So I think it's addressing both sides of the equation. Yeah, thank you.
The second one, I've not heard it well, Mantui.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So from Nora, we have, how do I deal with a situation where it feels like the boss is out to get you while you are trying everything to be a good employee? And how do I stand up for myself without seeming rude or argumentative? So yeah, so questions that address, I think, both sides of the leadership dynamic. Thank you.
Or where you feel the boss is out to get you while you're trying everything to be a good employee. I think I've looked at it and I've seen. You're doing everything you can, and how do I stand up for yourself without seeming rude, argumentative? I talked about understanding where people are at their journey. You may want to understand why is it that they don't see anything right? Why is it that they want to get you? How are you aware? Are you communicating? Are you at the same level? Are you able to get what is it that makes this boss unhappy or your leader unhappy? Have you had that discussion? Openness, open communication. I think effective communication is one of our hallmarks that makes a leader successful. Have that communication, have that open talk with them. And if you speak for yourself, do not be defensive. If you want to stand up for yourself, don't be defensive, don't be argumentative, respect them for who they are, take in their feedback positively, but get to the bottom of it. You know, if we go to them with that mind of how can we improve this, use the right words, avoid the negative language, avoid anything pointing to that will point to accusation. So you have gone, you are addressing your issues, not them. You're not pointing at, don't address how they are out about you. Address the real issue. And I remember pointing out earlier when I was saying, when you reprimand, when someone is reprimanded, they should reprimand the mistake, not the person. So get to understand also what else about you is not agreeing well with this leader, so that then you are able to address it well, and you are able to have you are able to have a good communication, or you are able to have something that is understandable between the two of you. I hope that makes sense. And then a leader who is always right. In communication, there is something that we call DISC communication. Get time and read about the DISC in communication. Domineering. There are those who are domineering. There is those who are influencers. There are those who are and then C, they are conscientious, supportive, S for supportive. Now, the DISC type of people, the D for domineering, they'll always be right. When you deal with somebody who is always right, they'll always be right. And even if you try to show them that they are wrong, then that is where you will disagree. So how do you deal with somebody who is always right? Is by acknowledging. You just maybe, if it is for their ego, like the domineering, they want their right to be that which is right in them, to be everybody else to see it that way. So if you want to have an easy time, just acknowledge that right, even at times when you disagree with it. And so maybe you look at a way of communicating when something is not going well, or especially if it affects work. Pointing it out with humility, pointing it out in a way that is not attacking the person, but attacking whatever it is. I hope I've been able to communicate, but get time and on your own time, just to look at what DISC in communication is, and with more emphasis on D, because you seem to be dealing with a D, and these are not very easy to get along with. But once you understand, and then you just maybe comment, and when you don't agree, but don't oppose, because when you oppose, you're giving them room for more attacks or even personalizing issues. Yeah. Humility in all this, I would commend that. Back to you, Mantu.
Thank you, Annabelle. And with that, we've closed the Q&A session. Thank you so much. I'd just like to make a few comments on some of the questions that regards the training sessions, and then open the floor to Annabelle and Anne to give their closing remarks. So on the chat box, I've just shared the registration link. We've been sharing out communication on the modules, on the slides, all of the updates on emails that are registered. So please ensure that you've registered your correct email so that you do get the updates that we share every single week. And like Annabelle has communicated, we will be having Leadership Dynamics 2 on Friday, same time, same place. We look forward to getting into the meat of leadership. I think today we've just scratched the surface, and already, as you can see, people are reflecting over their leadership styles, over how their leadership is, and rating it. And we've been encouraged to be honest with ourselves and take on the influencer model. So thank you very much, Annabelle. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being very engaging, for being present all through. We are grateful. So over to you, Annabelle, and then Anne to give your closing remarks. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Matui. Thank you for the comments you are getting, the claps, the smiles, the love hearts. Thank you very much for being very, very participative and staying up to the end. I want to thank everybody for having stayed on, and for having also shown the interest, and even giving us feedback, and even those questions that you have given. I want to really, really thank each one of you for your participation. I also want to thank I want to thank DTB for this opportunity to empower their teams, and I cannot thank you enough. Please maintain this because this consistency is what is giving you leverage over others, and I believe even those that we are talking to, you now feel that they are safe with an organization that is consistent, with an organization that is concerned with the well-being of those that they lead and those that they serve. I want to thank each one of you for the participation. I also want to thank you for having been part of this journey since we started sometime in October. You have been consistent. You have been giving us comments. You've been giving us feedback. With my colleagues, Degwa and William, I have been sitting in the modules, even if I don't participate, at least I have been seeing your participation. And I want to thank you. And I want to encourage us to still stay on and join us again on Friday as we continue with leadership dynamics, and then even for the other upcoming modules. Thank you very much for this time. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you again, Mantui, for setting this up. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone from Diamond Trust Bank. And thank you for this platform that you avail for your clients. I want to close at that because we can, so that we have more, we can share more on Friday. Thank you, participants, for your feedback. It's very, very encouraging. It's very, very, it keeps us going and very motivating. Thank you very much. We appreciate each of you. Back to you, Mantui.
Thank you, Annabelle. Sorry.
No worries, Mantui. So thank you so much, everyone, for what is a highly engaging session. Thank you, Annabelle. Like we said when we began, learning is a continuous process. So we look forward to seeing each and every one of you. And please bring a friend along. If you feel you're learning, which is obviously clear from the chat, let's expand this knowledge base, because it will help us build better businesses, stronger businesses. And for those who are looking to start, it will give you a solid foundation to starting the business. Remember, we are all leaders. Whether we are being led or whether we are leading somebody, we are all leaders. Asanteni sana, and have a most wonderful, blessed day. Mantui?
All right. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And on that high note, we end the session. See you on Friday, same time, same place. Goodbye.